What? January 4th, 2014. I mean,
2014, yeah. That was
January 4th, 2017.
2017. I can't
Four.
believe it's already the 4th. Dude, last year flew, but
Yeah.
happy New Year
Happy
to
New
you,
Year's.
to everyone.
Likewise.
I don't get into the whole fucking New Year's thing, man. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that.
You don't
I
set goals out for yourself?
um, I used to. I used to do resolutions, and I've kind of set goals, but dude, I never hit them, and no one ever really hits them. But like, I know I already set what I want for my perfect day, and I'm fine tuning that. And so like I think this whole past month I figured that out. So I was like, okay, what do I want for this year coming up? But dude, I had some awesome revelations, man. Fucking, I'm pumped about. But yeah, but as far as like the resolutions, and because most people don't do it, they're gonna start the gym and then they're gonna stop,
Yeah.
and dude, I'm guilty of that shit. Fucking, I really haven't stuck with any of those.
It's tough. I mean, but every day should be a new year for you. Like if you think about it that way. I know it goes by numbers, but realistically, if you can make it every day to do what you're doing,
Yeah. Oh,
you
dude,
know?
that's 100%, man. That dude, if you do that, then you're happy.
Yeah.
I was like, so, and dude, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised like a second from now. We could
No,
fucking
not at all. I agree.
anything could happen.
Agreed.
And I remind myself of that all the time. That's how I live my life, and that's definitely helped a lot. But yeah, so that's what I was like. Well, this year, so I sat down today, and I was thinking, okay, what do I want to get done? Because yesterday I sent out a ton of invites to potential co-authors, and because I'm for the Try Not to Die series. So I was thinking about different people I know that they are not writers yet. Some of them might be like they have a little bit of experience, but I know that they're very creative. I know they're intelligent. I know I can pick their brain. I know they're motivated. They're interested. They have the desire.
So you have that eye to pick them out of the group.
Yeah, and a couple of these are fighters. A couple that have been in the UFC. They're excited about it, so that'll be dope to have them on board. But I was like, that's a lot of work too.
Are they apprenticing under you?
We're just co-authoring, so they're just it's someone's an opportunity for them to have their first published book, and I want to build this series.
That's
So
dope.
I talked with someone recently just talking
That's
about
dope.
series and how important they are, and I think the reason I didn't want to do before with this was it was the first one was kind of a pain in the ass, just because, and it was also aimed for kids, like young adult. There's no swear words in it, nothing too graphic. I toned down everything, and I was like, that's not what I want to do, man. Just like, I don't want to do nonfiction anymore either. It's like I just finally finished up Unlocking the Cage. I got like a final month of editing. Huge,
Nice.
dude. I'm so relieved. But that's why I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? I want to do something fun for me. Fiction is fun, and if I could create with friends, I was like, then that's dope. All these different places, like, and I'm just like I'm gonna help guide them, and then they're gonna give me their ideas, and we just make these cool little stories, and it give me a way to kill characters off like 30 times in one book.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was like, right now, yeah, I sent off the character development sheet so they could create this character, and it's like, okay, next step, we get to play like how many times can we kill this person and make it different. So, but
I mean, the characteristics of what you do. I'd like to see these books.
and they're going to be the other cool thing about them too is they're going to be quick. So this year we have 3 lined up. Death Fest, which is well underway, with Glenn Headon, Try Not to Die and Brightside, with Donna Gonzalez. That one should move pretty fast. Like we already have the whole thing figured out. We're developing the character, gonna insert her into all these situations, and that'll be cool. And then also the one Try Not to Die in Taipei, I think a city in Thailand, which Marshall Stamper is doing. So those 3 are gonna, like, I'm pushing for those to get out this year. And then what I did between yesterday and today, man, I probably have another 5 to 10 that we're gonna be starting.
Wow.
Like one in the Wild West.
That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that should be a cool one. My little nephew might want to do one like Roman times, maybe Gladiator. I have another friend that's talking about doing one hunting. Because I tell these people, I was like, well, what do you know? What are you passionate about? What can you write about that I can't? I can't write about going to Taipei or whatever because I haven't been there, and
Right.
I mean, it's kind of interesting to me, but I wouldn't be able to do that. With Anthony, we're going to write one about the Iraq War, So that's going to be interesting, and I think all of them could be pretty powerful. And I
Wow.
think because it's a series, yeah, man. So if you're interested, I just offered it to my friend Mark, offered to a couple of people. Some people's not the right thing. It's like they might be too busy. But I told everyone it's no pressure. You go at your own pace because I have so many of these, and because it's just I'm fine tuning the format and I kind of know how to do it. We should be able to do them relatively fast. So
I'll do that. That'd be cool. I mean, whatever. That'd be. Yeah, sure. We can sit down and talk
okay,
about that. That'd be cool.
in the way that I'm handling it too, because I was thinking about it with my nephew. I was like, okay. He was honest with me. He's like, well, I'm mildly interested. I was like, yeah, he's 12 or 13. He plays video games and he does jiu-jitsu and he does all these other things. But he is interested, but he's also intimidated and he's got schoolwork and everything else. So I asked him how much free time he has. He's like, probably like an hour each night of free time. I said, so okay, can you give me 1 hour on 1 hour a week working on this? I'll send you questions. You answer these questions. And I said, we do that and, it won't take us long and we'll have the whole book. And so he's going to do that. And so I'm doing that with Anthony. I'm doing it with all these other people that need a little push or just some guidance. And then it's going to be cool. But the last thing I sent him, this right here, it's like 100 questions. I just got off the internet, but character development questions. And I was like, if you read through all those, even if you're not answering them all, you're gonna understand this character. And it's just, dude, it's fun. It's a cool new way to create. So yeah, man, I'll give you. Actually, you could take these.
Okay.
So those will be your questions. You can start thinking about what you'd want to do. The only thing is we can't do anything else. A subject that someone else has done. But dude, there's so much stuff that I find interesting. There's gonna be different genres. Like it could be, like we said, the Western. I'm going to talk with another fighter about doing a detective one because he loves detective stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. We could do a cool detective one. I want to do some science fiction, maybe even some space one. So I'll do a zombie one. So I'm going to find people that are passionate and knowledgeable about whatever, and then just we'll go that way and we'll dig into
good,
it.
Dude. Sounds good.
So that's one of the things we're going to do this year. And then I also realized I want to, the first thing I did after stopping Unlocking the Cage, I went into my short story Mutual Understanding, which I'm going to try to set it up so I can give that free when people order Unlocking the Cage or pre-order it. And it's a story about fighting and this girl that fights. And so I jumped right on that, and I was like, okay, I could do the Try Not to Die, and then I could also do one short story a month. I was like, that's super doable. But I realized, there's other stuff. Like I have a novel that's almost completed. I only need to spend like 1 or 2 months on it. So I was like, I have to do that first. So as soon as I finish on Mutual Understanding, then I jump on that novel, Ain't No Messiah, and then I could potentially release that this year too.
Wow.
So and then the following year,
Are you gonna do any more of the fairs? Are you gonna do the LA Fair this time?
No, I'm not. Actually, I was thinking
No fairs at all this year?
The LA Times Festival of Books. I think if I do it at all, it will be through the Horror Writers Association. They already have a booth. They're an awesome group. So I'd much rather just go to their table for a little bit of time than spend a whole weekend, man. I was like, I don't want to be at a festival the whole time.
Can't you be a special guest for a
What's
little while? Like sit-ins, like you.
Yeah.
That's what
So
you're saying?
so that'll be a time to sell books and sell, and you can write down, let people know what time you'll be there if they want to see you or whatever. So I'll definitely do that to hand out my flyers and like my little pamphlets, my booklets. That's how I got a lot of new readers by, just letting them check it out.
How many readers do you have now? What are you up to?
I don't know, man. It's hard to. I don't know what the total numbers are, but it's increasing though. And what's cool is just seeing responses. Like it's the first.
Do you have followers?
Yeah.
How many followers?
No stalkers yet. I need some stalkers.
Can you imagine that? Fucking watch what you wish for, dude. You'd be like,
No,
hanging
dude,
out your freaking window.
That's what I.
You'll be starting to use your crossbow for sure.
That's one reason I realized. I was like, I would never want to be famous, man. I was like, I don't want that, especially after work, dude. I did so much bodyguarding for celebrities.
I remember that.
And I was like, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to have a bodyguard. I wouldn't have to deal with that. I don't want to deal with people on the street. Like everyone, that's cool, man. I like people, but I don't want to be recognized.
You don't have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you will be, but I mean, you stay low key. You're not always out. Not everybody's gonna know you, and not everybody's expecting you. By then you'd be probably moving out of here. Because you'll have people up your culo in this area.
No, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens.
I think the future is going to be really bright for you guys.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. And then just so many projects. But I realize, okay, as much as I want to do that for next year, so I know what my writing goals are. I'm trying to think about, okay, those are my writing goals, but I'm also going to be taking time to do jiu-jitsu at least. I'm going to be teaching Tuesday and Thursday nights. Last night, Anthony's been gone the last 2 weeks.
Now?
Yeah, I'm taking over completely when Anthony's not there. When he's there, I would rather him, like he would do the yoga and he leads most of the class because I'd rather be a student. And I'm trying to learn, dude. I'm trying to get my fundamentals down. That's sad to say, he's a purple belt, but it's true, man. Like I'm realizing like I need to start drilling. So Tuesday, Thursday nights, I'm busy doing that. I want to start training at least once or twice at headquarters a week. So that cuts into writing also. And then, dude, lately we were talking a little bit about it earlier, but I've been playing the guitar a good amount. Jen got me a nice Fender acoustic.
That's
for
a nice
Christmas
way of saying,
because
shut the fuck up.
yeah,
Loud.
you know what? And I thought it was so sweet. I'm like, oh man. I was like, you know what? I was like, because we never really talk about it, but I would always go downstairs and either I'm on Rocksmith, just butchering these songs like I'm fucking awful because I haven't taught myself how to play.
It's still good.
And it's fun and I'm having a good time. But I guess she hears that sometimes. And then lately I've been going downstairs a lot for my, especially once I got the musician app, and I'd have to use my amp. And I wouldn't try to put it loud, and I wasn't even thinking that she was hearing it, but I guess so, because that's why she got me the acoustic. It wasn't because she was proud of me for
You're moving on up.
Yeah. Oh, I see you're trying so hard to learn this, and even though you suck, you're still trying. It's like, no, motherfucker, you're loud, and you're not good.
She goes, that bought me earbuds.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm always walking around with my earplugs in, dick? No, she didn't say that, but that was but later she did say that about the nice stuff about that she sees that I'm dedicating myself and all that.
No, I seen you. You've been improved from the last time I seen you play, which is pretty good, dude. I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you. And you caught me when I was really shitty. I haven't warmed up yet.
Yeah, no, but I thought you were doing pretty good.
No, that's cool to hear. And it's something just fucking turned off. Would it be that? If it did, no, fuck it. It's meant to be. We're trying to film this again. Shouldn't. Maybe that's God saying don't do it.
Not yet.
If I believed in him. No, who knows? But anywho, what the fuck were we saying before that beeping distracted us?
Oh, we were talking about the instruments.
Yeah. So anyhow, I highly recommend the Musician app. Because with that, you should definitely get it for you and your girlfriend because, dude, that's how I'm learning, man. It's actually teaching me. To be fair, on Rocksmith, it also will teach you. There are some lessons and everything else, but just the way I love the way the musician thing is set up. Man, I paid for the full subscription, and it's been worth it. But I did get an email from them every week. You get an email like with how many times you're playing, how many stars you got, all this kind of stuff. But I saw it was like 4.5 hours. I was like, holy shit. I was like, because plus I had like at least an hour on Rocksmith. So I just spent like 6 hours fucking around on the guitar. You know, I was like, that's time I could have been writing. You know, so I was questioning, like, is that worth it? But at the same time, I was like, I'm enjoying it, and I wouldn't be doing it. You know, especially thinking about that time. I like even because that thoughts in the back of my mind is like, oh, this is time I could be doing something else.
But you're not dicking off. You're wanting to learn something you've always wanted to learn.
Yeah. And we'll see. And I didn't know that I even wanted to learn guitar. I was like, I knew I wanted to do some kind of thing. I thought guitar was probably too hard.
Do you ever make your own music?
Not yet.
Do you ever sing any different tunes? And do you hear a different tune when you play in your head of lyrics, or do you only hear what you hear?
I don't know right now. Probably it's hard because I'm usually listening to songs and stuff being played.
Like what I'm trying to tell you is next time, not to cut you off, even though I already did.
Yes.
Is take your short stories. This is one of the short stories you have, and
just think about what it would sound like, kind of. That's cool.
Right into you, and just sing it like that.
Okay.
And you'll find a riff, and then you'll find it, and you'll start cutting it, and then you just start making your song. Dude,
that'd be pretty dope because then I can actually.
I'm telling you, you can start making your own songs off of your own stories. How do you think a lot of these writers, these singers do it?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to release that with the audiobook. Just a little recording of my take on it.
Yeah, what you feel on it, and then just like
my super baked take. It would have to be, but I need to. So I'm only on level 4 right now. I think it's out of 10 levels, and so like right now, like I'm starting to barely learn. But I was like, if I keep practicing, then I think that'll be the next step for sure. Nice. So man. But so everyone check that out. Musician app. It is cool. That's YOU musician. So what else? Oh, I forgot to mention, man. I got sales going on. Fucking big sales, free shit.
What do you got?
I think right now it's Try Not to Die is on sale for 99 cents. The first one, that's 99 cents on Amazon until I believe the 7th, so in a couple days. And then 25 perfect days plus 5 more is on sale for 99 cents until I think like the 16th or something. It's all in my newsletter, and then you'll find out when you go to the store. And there's another one that's free. Oh, Before Brightside Mandy is free. Not on Amazon yet. It should be. But it's like on everywhere else. Barnes & Noble and all that shit. So today, you and I are going to finalize.
Yes, we're going to finalize the drawings for Unlocking the Cage cover.
Yeah, we tried it before. We did on 99 Designs. We got some cool shit, but we gave them the wrong. I think we were going for the wrong thing, man. And I don't know. I listened to you. I shouldn't have.
We tried too hard when it should have been trying too hard.
Yeah. So, and maybe you could help me with it. I'm going to redo the Try Not to Die. I want to do a new Try Not to Die logo that I can use for all the books. Okay. So something a little bit more adult, a little bit more, I don't know, something where people will recognize it. But today, the reason we're here is not to be on this fucking podcast.
Not at all.
It's this goddamn waste of time. No. I'm glad you could come for it. Yeah.
How long is this?
I don't know. We've already been talking too long. We should cut this shit off. No, I'm waiting for Jake to wake up. But we're going to talk about Unlocking the Cage, the final cover, what we want for it. And so we'll get that knocked out because I want to put it up for pre-orders pretty soon, like in a month or two. And then also we need to design the trading card, the card, like a football or baseball or whatever pro sport card.
Like Tops.
We're gonna have our own Unlocking the Cage card for these guys and
/ bookmarker, so you guys will have a lot of limited edition with signatures from Mark.
And I'm gonna reach out to different fighters, see which ones want to get them out or sell them or whatever else. So I'm trying to think of some cool stuff.
Yes.
We're gonna. Also, I realize I'm going to put ads at the back of the book, too. This is something that a lot of people don't take advantage of, I think, or don't think about. And I'm just doing, like, one of them I'm just doing because I want to, I highly recommend them. But Phalanx with rash guards. They make rash guards and spats. I really enjoy their product. They have some awesome athletes. And so, like, I'm giving them space. Like, I'm putting a page saying, hey, if you guys need, if you train, especially jiu-jitsu or whatever, check out Phalanx, use this code, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to reach out to some other people like that. The places that I use a lot and that I like Lumosity, the Brain Game place, use that. I don't know, just whatever, because that's something that could help fighters too. It could help anybody to do brain training, but the reason I started is because it's supposed to delay Alzheimer's and stuff like that, which I'm very worried about because all the fucking trauma I've had and everything else and how shitty my memory already is. But so it's definitely made a difference for me.
You don't think that a lot of your being a human being that your brain doesn't shut out what it doesn't like anymore?
No, that's some of it. But dude, I've forgotten all kinds of cool shit too. Like I've forgotten.
I have too. I don't have brain damage. I didn't get I didn't go. I played football for a little bit, but I didn't get beat up.
And you fought for a while. So
yeah, I did. But
how many sparring sessions did you get?
A good amount.
Yeah, so you probably got a good amount of concussions, and because especially back then, like you don't fucking stop. You just keep getting ass kicked.
I took a knee a couple times.
Yeah,
a few times.
Who knows? Who knows if that caused it or if it's just old age or whatever else. But I was like, I might as well start taking the precautions now.
No, it makes sense.
Other fighters, I'm going to encourage them to do the same. So
no, that's good. I agree with the ones what you're doing on the back of the book. I think that's it's a good way to get people to understand things that not only by the companies that you agree by, but also the positive notes that those companies do bring.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah, like on it. I'll write to them and see if they want something there. Because, I love their product, man.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes a big difference in the ability to think. I use Alpha Brain all the time.
I do too. I like it when you give it to me here when I get it.
Yeah.
I think that thing makes me feel top notch.
Yep. So, yeah, man, I think that's it. Cool. So, and who knows about the rest? But yeah, why don't we get working on that? Because Jake is gonna wake up soon. Yeah. He's gonna want to play with you. He fucking loves you. I don't know why. No, you're awesome with him. Yeah, no, he's excited. I couldn't believe he actually took a nap because he heard you were coming. I was like, oh, he can't come until after your sleep. So he should be getting up pretty soon. So that'll be fun. We'll play with him for a bit. And there was one. Oh, last thing was the short story. I don't know if we mentioned it. I don't know if we were recording or not. But today I gave you a choice. I think there are only 2 stories left on Twisted Reunion that we have not played on the podcast.
That's crazy.
They were both off of repackaged presents, but these were the re-recorded ones by T. Quone. So I said you could either have a visit to an insane asylum or what was the other one? Oh, something about creating the perfect picture.
Right.
And you chose insane asylum.
Yep.
So if you guys don't like this story, it's not his fault. It's not mine. I did my best.
He wrote it. I liked it.
This was one of my earliest published ones. I think this might have been I think it was published in Wicked Carnival a long time ago.
Really?
So it helped give me confidence. Maybe not one of my favorite stories, but it's kind of cool. And I rewrote it, so being able to rework stories is a lot of fun.
Do you have a cover for that one, Wicked Carnival?
Well, that was the name of the magazine. I probably have the magazine. I have it on my computer. I can show you the picture. But and they actually had they had a drawing, an illustration for it. It was of a guy picking something out of his teeth. I think it's kind of bloody too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's called Midnight Snack.
Midnight Snack.
Yeah, gets a little. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy it. But if you do like that, you could pick up the entire audiobook on Audible. And if you bought the ebook already too, if you own the ebook, you could get the audiobook for like $1.99, which is super cheap instead of paying shit. I don't know what they cost, probably $18, $20.
Wow.
I'm not buying that. And if there are any listeners out there that can't afford a full-length audiobook but would like one, I do have a couple copies. All you gotta do is let me know, email me, ask for it, and you probably shall get it. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Otto, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mark. Happy New Year's, bro.
Happy New Year to you, man. Let's make it a fucking good one.
Absolutely.
All right.
Much love out there. Bye.
Midnight Snack. Nick Decker sat on the toilet and flipped through the latest muscle magazine, searching for the model with the tiniest bikini. He settled on brunette draped across the kind of chiseled monster Decker had given up on ever becoming. The brunette wasn't even as wide as this guy's leg. Decker froze when he heard a rusty squeak. It didn't sound like the ward's front door, but the A and B wing doors were locked and no one else with keys was in the building. It had to be someone from the swing shift or one of the nurses from the front unit. Maybe it was that cutie with the short black hair. He didn't rush off for the can for just anyone, but he would for her. There were footsteps, or a soft jingle coming from the ward. Decker was about to yell that he'd be out in a minute. Then he realized he might not have locked the control booth. Grounds for termination. He didn't typically forget, but he'd been slacking off, especially since they'd stuck him back on Graveyard. Decker dropped the magazine and cleaned up. He ignored the sign telling employees to wash their hands and walked out of the bathroom as he finished buckling his pants. An elderly doctor with a scraggly gray beard was struggling to find the right key to open the B-wing gate. Keeping an eye on the doctor, Decker walked to the unlocked control room door and slipped inside. Speaking through the mesh wiring that served as a window, he casually asked, "Can I help you?" Startled, the doctor looked up and stuttered, No, forgot which, I didn't realize anyone was here." Decker took a seat in his raised chair, positioned himself for a better look at the grizzled doctor. "I'm sorry, I don't believe I've seen you before. You work in one of the other wards?" The doctor shook his head and shoved the keys back into his lab coat. No. I'm sorry, officer. I'm new. Just got hired today. Decker didn't mention he was only a guard and not an actual law enforcement officer. Yeah, I heard they hired someone. You're taking O'Malley's place, right? Oh, yes. I believe that was the name on my office door. About time they hired a replacement. Been short a doctor all week. I'm Nick, but most just call me Decker. Oh, I'm Dr. Hoffman. The doctor stepped up to the window, and a peculiar smell wafted through the mesh. Unable to place the scent, Decker asked, "How much did they tell you?" Tell? About O'Malley, the gig. Oh, not much. The woman who hired me seemed preoccupied. Is there something I should know? No, I was just asking, Decker said. I was kind of hoping you'd tell me. O'Malley just stopped coming in. No one's heard from him. I take it that would be strange. He just didn't seem the type to up and quit. But hell, it's not like people need a reason to leave this shithole. Oh? Decker laughed. No, it's not all that bad. You'll get used to it, as long as you don't mind being around these crazy fuckers. Not that, I mean, no, it's okay. I have grown boys. I'm well versed in insanity. Yeah, that's funny. Still, sorry for my language. One of the reasons I'm here at midnight, they keep telling me I gotta be careful of what I say in front of folks, especially working for the state. Oh, yes, I know this too well. I used to be over at Weatherly. Weatherly? Shit, must have been some time ago. That place burned down, 20 years ago? Hoffman thought about it a second. Yes. I suppose it's been a while. The doctor's dingy lab coat looked as if it went back to his days at Weatherly. Decker asked, Where else did you work? Oh, all over. I've never been one to stay too long in one place. Well, glad they brought you in. Damn budget's so tight, I was half expecting they'd let these bastards run the place themselves. Practically already do. Dr. Hoffman laughed a little too hard at the lame joke. Decker didn't think he was being made fun of, but he didn't like it either way. Seeming to sense his unease, the doctor said, I am sorry to disturb you this evening. Yeah, there's normally not a doctor here this late. The doctor shifted his weight. I don't actually start until Monday, but the lady that hired me, I forgot her name, said I could come in to check out the place. I know it sounds like something a teenager would say, but I guess I'm kind of nervous about my first day. I've actually been on sort of a sabbatical. Decker finally saw why they'd hired this old-timer. He was probably dirt cheap. And although Decker wasn't the most sympathetic of men, Dr. Hoffman sort of reminded him of his grandfather. Nothing to be nervous about, Decker said. We've all been the new guy at some point. I thought maybe coming this late might allow me to get a feel for the place, when it's not so busy. I like to know where things are. Helps me not to seem so much like a bumbling fool. Well, don't worry. Expectations are pretty low down here. Yes, well, if it's all the same, I was hoping to possibly get a tour. Obviously, it would be up to you. I mean, if you're busy, I can always... Decker studied the old man. He did seem eager. That's something Decker wasn't used to seeing in here. The poor guy probably didn't have anyone to go home to. Yeah, sure. Time for my rounds anyway. I just need to see your ID. Dr. Hoffman patted his lab coat, checked his pockets, his face reddening. Oh, dear. I don't believe I brought it. I must have left it in the office or possibly in my car. I don't think I brought it home, but I was in such a rush to get here, I can't remember. I can go look. I'll only be a bit. Nah, forget it. You're here now. I don't want you getting in trouble. No trouble. You showed me your ID and I verified it. Simple as that. We'll scratch each other's backs around here. Oh, I do appreciate it. That's very kind, the doctor said. Not a problem. Let's get started, Decker said. He grabbed his metal flashlight and stepped out of the control room. Decker started toward B-Wing, but turned back when he noticed Dr. Hoffman wasn't following. "Is there a difference between the two wings?" the doctor asked. "Yeah. A-Wing is where we keep the semi-treatable schizos. B-Wing is a whole other story. All the psychos. Real sick fuckers. That is until you cure them, right?" "Yes, of course." Dr. Hoffman followed Decker through the gate and down a dark hallway. "Is it just you down here?" "Yeah, just me and the loons." "What if something happens? I mean, if there's a problem?" "You getting scared, Doc?" I'm always a little on edge." "Don't worry. These cells stay locked unless I open them." Decker fingered the radio on his belt. "And I got this. We've got guards stationed in every ward. Someone's always less than a minute away. Unless they're in the bathroom." Decker chuckled. "Yeah, I guess." He shoved his key into the lock on the metal door and had to jiggle it. Dr. Hoffman was practically on top of him, his disgusting aftershave even more pungent in this confined space. Decker finally recognized the smell. It was Sandoval. His old boss at the coroner's office used to slather himself with the stuff. Decker locked the door behind them. "Now just stay close." "Is it always this dark?" "Wing lights go off at 9. Decker pointed at the 2 open stalls on the right side of the hall. "Here are the showers?" "Here are the showers. It's mainly for the incoming inmates. Most of the long-terms rarely use them. Hygiene isn't a priority when you never see a woman." Decker stopped and turned to the doctor. "Look, I know you worked at Weatherly, but these guys can get a little rowdy. I just want to warn you." "I appreciate it. But as I mentioned, I raised 3 sons. I'm sure it'll be nothing I haven't heard before." "I don't know, Doc. These are some twisted fellas." "So were my boys." They passed the first set of dimly lit cells when the taunting began. It started softly, a whisper from the first 2 cells, number 1 on the right and 10 on the left. But the rest of the wing was quick to join in. The hallway filled with the incessant wails of the inmates. Decker's own little rainforest of crazy. Out of the rambling nonsense came the inmate's favorite. "Here comes Decker. Decker the pecker checker. Decker Dicker, penis licker." The inmates continued the barrage, and Dr. Hoffman said, "Quite colorful, aren't they?" "Yeah, not very original." Decker continued past the next set of cells. "Keep it down, gentlemen. Don't make this a long night." An inmate's body banged against the metal door. With his face pressed against the square glass window, the guy screamed, "Shut the fuck up, Dicker!" Decker pressed the flashlight to the window and flicked the button. The light blasted the man's contorted face, and he fell backwards with a scream, his hands covering his eyes. Decker laughed and holstered his flashlight. That asshole never learns. "That happens often?" Don't worry, it doesn't hurt. Just keeps him quiet." "Oh no, it doesn't, Ducker. You stupid motherfucker." Decker spun around and shouted, "You want the restraints? I swear to Christ, Homer, I'll strap you in one for the next month." "Oh, I love a good strap-on, but I'm more interested in the real deal, like the one Daddy's gonna shove in your ass." Decker clenched his fists and started for the door, but he remembered the doctor. This wasn't a battle he could win, and not the best way to make an impression. He kept walking and called over his shoulder, "Knock it off and go to bed." They passed rooms 4 and 7, and a soft chanting began. "I know something you don't know. I know something you don't know." It grew louder and louder until it seemed the walls were shaking. Decker's face turned redder, but strangely, he noticed, Dr. Hoffman didn't seem unnerved by the mind-numbing screams. Decker yelled, "I'm not kidding. This ends now." The chanting grew. "Do you mind if I try?" Dr. Hoffman asked. Decker shrugged his shoulders, tried to hide his embarrassment and frustration. "Excuse me, young men," the doctor said in a surprisingly firm and even tone. "Please listen to my words, for I will only say this once." The chanting quieted. Only a few murmurs filtered out. "Thank you. My name is Dr. Hoffman, and I want you to know I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you when the time is right. But right now, I need your assistance. I would like to continue my tour without interruption. If you can do that, I promise it will not go unappreciated. Do I make myself clear?" Decker couldn't believe it. Except for a couple of hoots and hollers, the ward was silent. The ward was never silent. These psychos didn't listen to anyone but themselves. He didn't want to tell that to Dr. Hoffman, though, so he just mentioned something about the cafeteria opening in a few hours. The doctor didn't seem to be paying attention. He was focused on the last door on the right. "I wouldn't get too close to there, Doc. His food flap's broken. You get too close and that prick could reach out and grab you." Dr. Hoffman kept his distance, but bent forward to look through the window. Something was definitely stirring behind the glass. "He doesn't use his nightlight?" "Doesn't have one. Broke it. We replaced it a couple of times, and every time he'd break it." "Guess he didn't like the light." "Yeah, and I called maintenance to fix the flap, but I can't even get one of those guys to sneeze down here, especially with this one." "Oh?" "Name's Carter. A real freak. Takes 3 guards to restrain him." Hoffman went up on his tiptoes to get a better look. "Have you tried talking to him?" "Yeah, I read him bedtime stories every night. Come on, Doc, we should get back." Still balancing on his tiptoes, Dr. Hoffman said, "Just 1 minute." He held out his hand and asked to borrow the flashlight. Decker handed it over, and Hoffman shined it through the window. "Oh, I believe he's scared." "Yeah, trust me, Doc, he ain't. Antisocial personality disorder. Fucker eats people's faces." "Interesting." "Doc, I really wouldn't get too close." "It's okay. I can see him on the bunk. If he moves, I'll be sure to get back." Hoffman bent down so he could look through the opened flap. "Hello, son. How are you doing tonight?" A loud thrashing erupted in the room. The metal frame of the bunk clanged as the inmate threw his body up and down. Decker said, "He's been doing that all week. Stays on his bed and then acts crazy every time we do a check. It's like he gets so excited he can't control it." "Kid's just got a lot of energy," Dr. Hoffman said a little too merrily. "Well, he won't eat shit. Tosses out every meal we give him." "Well, he's just peculiar." Dr. Hoffman pulled something out of his pocket. Decker thought it looked like a little hamburger, but it was hard to tell. It was obvious that Dr. Hoffman was trying to feed Carter. Decker grabbed the doctor's arm. "The hell are you doing? I told you he's crazy." "Oh, we're all a little crazy." Dr. Hoffman's eyes gleamed. Decker didn't understand it, but he looked taller. "It runs in the family." Carter's lips pressed against the open slot. He whispered, "Dad." Decker realized this man wasn't a doctor. Hoffman pulled out the keys from his pocket. Each one was caked in dried flesh. They hung from a little black rabbit's foot keychain, exactly like O'Malley used to carry. Decker tried to block the key heading toward his face, but the small metal tip plunged through his pupil. The inmates roared as Decker crumpled to the floor. They continued to shout every time the keys carved into his neck, face, and hands. Maniacal laughter filled the wing as the inmates banged their fist against the glass. Hoffman stood and faced them. Now, you'll all taste him soon enough. But my son goes first." Hoffman yanked the keys off Decker's belt. He licked each one before trying them in Carter's door. Finally, the lock turned, and the door creaked open. Carter fell into his father's arms. "Yes, yes," Hoffman said. "Now don't let this good food go to waste." Carter fell onto Decker's wheezing body and ripped off a chunk of Decker's cheek. Hoffman continued down the wing and called back. "Just make sure to leave some for your brothers."